Well, what is up to all my folks who are thinking about maybe moving to, maybe you're going to Texas Tech University, maybe you want to invest in Lubbock, maybe you're just moving to Lubbock, maybe you got a job there, you want to go there, blah, 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 blah. Whatever you're thinking about, you arrived here at my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Andrew Baxter, your host. Today, we're getting into something we've talked about before, but we need to definitely update, and that is going to be the best places to move near Texas Tech University. Let's do this. Number one is going to be Terrace. That's right, the Austin, Texas suburban neighborhood of Lubbock, as some call it. Terrace is a beautiful little neighborhood with houses of all different shapes and sizes. Some you got built out of adobe, some you got 1930s vintage style with a nice siding on it. You've got really nice bricks, some French style houses, all different types. The fun thing about Terrace is there is a good amount of college students, but they are a little bit further south towards 34th Street, kind of close to, if you're looking at a map and you go to Boston, which runs north to south, okay, you're gonna see like around Boston and 26th, there's gonna be J&B Coffee, Capital Pizza. They just put a new brewery over there called Good Line. There's a lot of really cool stuff and shops over there. It's a very vibrant area for college students, professors alike. There are also like some $1 million homes in this neighborhood. The president of Texas Tech University lives in this neighborhood. It is a really nice neighborhood. Obviously, like any other neighborhood in Lubbock, there are pockets that are great, and then like you'll be driving down a different block and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened here? Yeah, and that's just how it rolls sometimes in Lubbock. But all in all, I would say if you're a college student, the way that college students usually rent in Terrace is they rent by the room, and the market rate when I was in college was about $550 to $600 a room. Now it's really itching up to close to $700 a room. So for investors as well, that's something to consider. If you buy a 3-bedroom house, you can get it for $220, $230 or something. Maybe rent it out for, God, I don't know, $2,100 a month or something like that. I help folks, some of my favorite clients from California actually. They've bought quite a few houses in Terrace. They're doing well. Let's just say that. They're doing very well with it. It's just a really solid rental market, solid rental neighborhood. And it's also, you've got Terrace Park, you've got Wagner Park. Wagner has like tennis courts and basketball and volleyball and a big park for kids. The elementary school that Buddy Holly actually went to is in Terrace. So that's really cool if you think about that. It's nice. There are more trees in Terrace seemingly than anywhere else in Lubbock. It doesn't really feel like when you're in Lubbock, to be honest, when you're in Terrace. I love taking my dog to the park, strolling her around, you know, just doing our thing. All the girls are like, oh my God, your dog's so cute. And I'm like, thanks, baby. But I don't approach them or anything because I'm taken currently. But it's just a really all around solid place. If you're wanting to move to Lubbock, I would definitely recommend looking in Terrace just because it's kind of a Lubbock staple. It is very much a Lubbock staple. If you're a college student and you and mommy and daddy can afford and pay for your rent, or maybe you can, maybe you work hard, I would definitely look at living in Terrace. It's some of the safer parts. It's probably one of the safer places for college students to live. Yeah, you just got a lot of all around good stuff in Terrace. All right, let's move on to numero dos. That's right, number 2 is gonna be Rush. We've talked about Rush quite extensively as well. Rush is like kind of old money Lubbock. It's just down 19th between Quaker and Slide. It's kind of like, you know, you do have some big lots with some big old houses, some 4,000 or 5,000 square foot houses, 6,000. You got some people with tennis courts in their backyards, some people with basketball courts in their backyards, lots of people with swimming pools in their backyards, and not to mention Rush Elementary is one of the top rated elementary schools in Lubbock, Texas, which is fantastic. But what you're gonna wanna see and go for in Rush is, just like Terrace, there are pockets that are kind of made for certain people and pockets that are made for others. Like, and I mean, not demographic wise, but college students versus people who are gonna be homeowners. You know, professors, blue collar folks, all the mix you could get is gonna be sprinkled on in there. So, Rush is, if you're going down 19th Street and you're going west and you get to Quaker and you're looking at Quaker from 19th, you're gonna wanna go right. On the right, you're gonna have Greek Row, which all the Greek houses are at, which they're all beautiful, but nobody lives in them. So it's not super loud all the time. On the left is gonna be Rush, and that's where you go Rush and you can go all the way down and slide. And I believe kind of in the middle of it that splits Rush from, I think, the other neighborhood that's next to it is Higginbotham Park, which has a big pond in it. And newsflash, guys, ponds in Lubbock are pretty rare, and if they look good, they are extremely rare. They're like a diamond in a pile of horse poop. It's really hard to find. But Rush, we really do like Rush. And Rush houses, they can get expensive. You've got some homes selling for $300K, you got some for $4, you've got some for $8, you got some for over $1 million. It just depends on which street you're on and where you're gonna be. Also, because it's still relatively close to Tech, it is a bit further of a drive than Tech Terrace, you are gonna be catching some college students in there. Now, a lot less, significantly less, but you will find some. Okay, number 3 is gonna be the medical district. Now, I think in the previous video, I called the medical district the ugly stepsister of Tech Terrace. And folks, I'm not redacting that statement. It's still a nice-ish neighborhood. It's close to Tech. It's still very close to Tech. Something to consider is the houses are a lot smaller by and large than in Tech Terrace, and there's just not a lot of amenities around there, but a lot more college students live in the medical district than I would say Tech Terrace because it's more affordable. I mean, you're looking at some 1,500 square foot dolly mac houses, those ones with the flat roofs, sometimes maybe just tiny little pitched roofs. By and large, it's not as nice as Tech Terrace, but still a very convenient place to live if you are going to Texas Tech University or for an investor looking to rent out to college students. Now, people oftentimes ask me about the safety of these neighborhoods. I get calls and emails all the freaking time, which leads me to my next point. If you're thinking about buying in Lubbock, give me a ring-a-ding-ding. My number is right here. It'll be me you're talking to or one of my team members, and we will get you locked up, squared away, batted out the wazoo, get you in Lubbock, Texas. Come on, baby. People often ask me about safety. Almost all the time I get safety, 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 safety. And just like I said earlier, Lubbock, there are some spots that are really good, some spots that are really bad. And better than me tell you, and you don't have to take my word for it, you can follow this link right here, which is a neighborhood scout link, and it has the crime data for Lubbock. A quick Google search will show you the neighborhoods that are very crime-ridden in areas and the ones that are not. And we gotta leave it at that because I'm not at liberty to be like, you shouldn't move there, you shouldn't move there, you shouldn't move here. I can give my opinion about certain things, but I can't outright say, don't move here because X, Y, Z. But I would just say, by and large, a quick Google search will resolve any of this. And especially with somewhere like the medical district, you can just tell generally the prices of houses are much lower, so is the quality. That's how it goes, okay? Not as desirable to live in as Tech Terrace is, but it's still a good neighborhood. And it is the medical district, so you got a major hospital close by, which would be Covenant Hospital, and they're doing a lot of construction over there. I mean, a lot. But I would say the unique thing about this neighborhood is the layout of homes is quite a bit more interesting than most in Tech Terrace. Like, not a lot of people have gone in and flipped the homes to make their layouts more favorable or more modern. They are more so like, you're thinking straight out of 1970, like what was the builder thinking? What was the architect? What kind of crack were they smoking and where do I get some? Just kidding. But like, what were they thinking when they were building some of the layouts of these homes? That's kind of the medical district. Okay, number 4, this one's gonna be very interesting. This is North Overton, and the reason I'm putting this one in here is because there are pockets of it that are very much gentrifying. I would say of all the ones we've talked about so far, North Overton is the most college student heavy neighborhood. And that's because the rents are cheap and the houses are not that fantastic. So a lot of investors buy houses here, a lot of maybe parents buy houses for their kiddos and yada 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 and so on and so forth. I would definitely say though, this is one of those spots. Now, as the university gets nicer and grows and develops and people put millions and millions and millions and millions and billions of dollars into it, which is what's happening, you are seeing that quality kind of dip into these neighborhoods that are immediately next to Tech. And North Overton is one of those. There are some very redeeming qualities about it. You've got a lot of restaurants close by, shops, liquor stores. That's pretty much it. But you've got those things close-ish by. You're close to Broadway, which has some great coffee shops on it. Monmouth Coffee, great bars. Of course, you've got Chimmy's, and you've got Crickets, and you've got Beer House, and you've got Local and Atomic, which are now not that anymore. It's appeasing to college students because the rent's usually actually cheaper in North Overton. So, and I will testify, it is getting nicer. There are spots that do kind of look like a war zone, but there are also spots that are growing and getting quite a bit nicer. So, I mean, you can be catching homes. The average home price in this neighborhood is maybe like $190 to $250, depending on what you get. So a lot cheaper. Okay, number 5, gonna round off the list here, is going to be North Point. Now, people might be saying, North Point, where is that? I've never heard of that one. Well, I'm pulling this out of the hat, okay? This is a great neighborhood for college students, maybe not undergrad, maybe post-grad. A lot of doctors, people going to school live in this neighborhood. It's a newer, more refined community. There's more cookie cutter houses. It's big. I actually lived there in college, and I will say that it does not feel like a college neighborhood at all. It feels more like a suburb that like a neighborhood you might find in Plano or something like that. It's just all around nicer, newer. The houses were built in like the 2000s, 2010s. North Point, they've just built a new storage facility over there. There's a big, huge field that's getting developed currently with more commercial stuff. It's just a growing area. Now, I will say this, it is about 10 minutes from campus. It took me about 10 minutes to get from my house, walk out of my door, get in my car, turn on my vehicle, and drive all the way to the Rawls College of Business, where I totally passed in an honest way. And it took me about 10 minutes from my door to get to the door of the Rawls. That's not bad for me, and I had a car, so that wasn't terrible. For a lot of college students, that might not be it. It might not be for you. But I would definitely consider looking at rentals, or if you're a parent looking to buy for your student, or potentially even an investor. 1, call me, but 2, this would be a good neighborhood to look into for sure. And I would definitely consider it. Like I said, more cookie cutter style houses. I used to take my dog on a walk around the neighborhood every day. I felt safe. It felt like a good place to be. People take care of their yards. You don't see couches on the roofs or kegs out in the front yard. Lots of older folk, maybe like 50 to 70 to 80. I mean, you get older people living in the neighborhood. So nothing is super crazy. It's just a very solid, straightforward, kind of cookie cutter area. So I will always vouch for North Point. And like I said, grad students specifically, because it's especially close to the med school, especially close to the med school. So a lot of grad students like to live in North Point because they can just it's just a stone's throw away to the med school. And it's close to Blue Sky, which if you have not eaten at Blue Sky, if you come to Lubbock, Texas, go to Blue Sky. It's some of the most fired up burger you're ever gonna eat in your entire life. Go to Blue Sky, and if they have Thin Mint milkshakes, get it. It's the best milkshake I've ever had in my life. So anyway, that will top off the list for you guys. I try to be as authentic and thorough as possible, but hey, if you're interested in buying or investing, you've already got my number. You give me a call. My email is down below. We're gonna set up a Zoom link thing so that you can start Zoom calling with me, which is gonna be fantastic. But yeah, just keep liking the channel, keep watching the videos. Thank you so much for sticking around for this long. We've been doing it for like 3 years now, and we're gonna keep doing it. So thanks guys, see you in the next one.